Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the SlapDash podcast. I am your host today, and I'm here with my co-host. Say hi.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a nice day today.
How you been, bro? How's your day been so far? What you
It
been
has
up
been
to?
it has been wonderful. I've got to tell you, I'm doing really good, making a lot of progress in different areas. Hit a new PR recently.
Yeah, boy.
I'm I'm fucking happy.
Yeah, it's nice. For me, I've just been playing a bunch of Elden Ring. I played. Been just getting ready for that DLC. You know,
Oh yeah,
pretty much all I've been doing the past 2 days. Just
yeah.
playing
That
Elden
trailer.
Ring.
Yeah, seriously though, that trailer looked amazing.
Yeah, I know the Elden Ring trailer, bro. I cannot wait. I literally have um five no in, yeah five different builds, five different characters. Hello, we're taking a little break in this video to show you our new sponsor for our channel, Dubby. Say hello to our sponsor, Dubby, an up-and-coming energy drink that uses no maltodextrin filters or artificial dyes and is packed with amino acids.
Nootropic and nootropic and 150 milligram of caffeine per serving, as well as having zero sugar and is completely gluten free.
Check it out at www.w.gg and use our code SLAPDASH for 10% off and to support our little channel here. It would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you very much, Debbie, for sponsoring our tiny little and up and coming channel. Thank you all for coming back on the channel of Slapdash, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of it. Thank you very much.
That I'm working on for the DLC so I can just play it continuously back to back with different builds.
He's gonna be addicted for a solid while there.
Fuck yeah, dude. And the thing is, it comes out right before my birthday too. So I don't even know if I'm gonna have a party or not. Honestly, I'm gonna be just like playing Elden Ring. That's mostly a joke, but mostly.
Mostly.
What about you? Are there any new upcoming games you're excited for? Plan on getting, or like game editions or whatever?
Well, yeah, there's a specific game that's coming out in August. It's called Black Myth Wukong.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure I've talked to you about it before. It's like very similar to the Souls franchise, the Soulsborne video games,
Hmm.
and it's based on the a tale of a journey to the west.
Yeah, I could tell by the title.
And bro, if you look at the trailer, Black Myth Wukong, it is so awesome. They show off different boss fights. They show off mechanics of the game. They show off different sorts of combat systems and traversal systems. Like with Wukong, you could shapeshift into different animals during combat or to travel to different areas. And that giant staff he has, it can extend. It, you can use some fucking magic shit. It is awesome. Like,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah. No. It sounds pretty. Yeah. It sounds pretty cool actually.
yeah, although I don't want to spoil too much so that, people could actually just see
Yeah.
it for themselves. But I'm just going to say this. There's a specific boss fight in the trailer that has, like, the best, like, some of the best fucking video game boss theme music I have ever heard. I'm just
Hmm.
going to say that. But seriously, it comes out like August 20th, and I'm so hyped for it.
You
I
know.
want to play that game so much.
Yeah. So actually sounds pretty cool. Okay.
You're
So
going
I know me and you have talked about this already, but for sake of conversation, what was
to.
the
Okay.
very first video game you played?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I'm not quite like I said, I can't quite remember this correctly, but I think because I remember playing on several different systems when I was really young. I remember fondly like one of the first video games I ever played was Pokemon Emerald for the Game Boy Advance.
I think that was a lot of people's first game.
It I'm gonna say it again. Pokemon Emerald is the best Pokemon video game ever. even better than the more modern versions. It is the best Pokemon video game to ever exist.
Kind of
It is,
hard to not be better than the modern versions of Pokemon.
yeah, that's the thing. When it came to that certain, I think it was Gen 4 or Gen 5. I think it was Gen 4 that Pokemon Emerald, Ruby, and Sapphire. I'm pretty sure that was Gen.
Hmm.
Uh, Ruby and Sapphire. I mean, of course, they're pretty much all just clones of themselves. But Pokemon Emerald, I love one thing mainly because I love Rayquaza. Rayquaza is one of the coolest legendary Pokemon ever made, and two, the music, the fucking gameplay. It is so much fun, especially like in every Pokemon video game, you have that nice little town music for every place you start in. For everyone, it was different. For like people, for Gen 1, it was Pallet Town. For me, it was Little Root. Little Root Town in Gen 4 Pokemon Emerald. It is best. Like, it is so somber. It is so calming. I would just blast that shit in my like headphones and just zone out. It is so tranquil and so peaceful. It's like the best.
Now, for me, my very first video game, it was on the Nintendo Wii. It was Super Mario Galaxy, which I actually replayed recently on an emulator on my computer, and it was just as good as I remember it being. Like Super Mario Galaxy, just like it's Mario in space. Like, how can you get any better than that when it comes to Mario games? And in my opinion, it's probably the best like 3D Mario game compared to like I know it's like controversial probably, but it's just it feels so much different than any of the other 3D Mario games in the sense where it's like the worlds feel just like so much more massive, and it's like you're literally traveling through the universe, and it's like the combat system they do is also different than any other Mario game, while still being simple. And it's just like even like the visuals for it, like the like just like yeah, like some of the visuals like while you're traveling through space, or like some of the different planets you land on, look just phenomenal for a fucking Wii game. Like seriously.
I mean, I'm pretty sure lots of people will agree with you because
Yeah,
I played Mario Galaxy on the Super Mario 3D All Stars for the Switch, and it is a fun game. Honestly, it is
but
very
unfortunately the second one nowhere near as good. The
really
sec
the second one wasn't
the
that good.
second one just fucking sucked. It's like I played it and I got to like half a game, a little bit more than that, and it's just like didn't have the same feel to it. It like I don't know. It didn't have that same like interstellar travel feeling of like
Hmm.
going to different galaxies and traveling through stars and shit like that. It just didn't have the same feeling to it. It felt more kiddie, I guess.
Like childlike.
Yeah, it felt like they took. Yeah, I felt like Super Mario Galaxy like it could still be like yeah, it's like they took what made Super Mario Galaxy 1 great and they just ripped it from it. Like
I,
the visuals in 2 were nowhere near as good. The music was also kind of shitty. The combat system was the exact same, but the bosses in 2 also were also like nowhere near as cool as the bosses in 1. And it's like the story and the hub and how the hub of like the main hub in 2 is also just like kind of barren and like doesn't have a real feeling of Super Mario Galaxy to it. While in the first one, the HUD, it's like you're on like an interdimensional like starship that's like has a bunch of different portals in it that lead to different planets and shit like that. It's just like it feels like an actual ship. Like feels like you're actually traveling through space.
well,
While
I
in,
mean,
while in the second one, it just doesn't feel like that anymore.
well, I guess that's fair to say. I mean, I would say, considering the fact that like certain newer games wouldn't be as good compared to like the older versions of them. Like when people were to play a 3D Mario game for the first time, like say like Super Mario 64. that was the first introduction of any 3D Mario game ever, and people loved that so much. Then after that, you had Super Mario Sunshine. Then eventually, you had Super Mario Galaxy.
There's one Mario game that I'd say comes close to Galaxy, and it's probably Odyssey. Odyssey was a really good one too.
Odyssey was so much fun, bro.
Yeah, Odyssey was a really good one too. But it's
One
just
thing,
like I honestly think the Mario franchise peaked at Galaxy. In all honesty, like that was when it was at its prime, its like best, gameplay wise, of course. You know, that's just my personal opinion though. So
I'd say that's fair.
I think
I
it's
mean,
mostly because like I'm kind of biased because it was like the first game I played, so it's like, eh.
I mean,
Go ahead.
well, that's fair. I mean, now when it comes to say like now that's the first video game you were ever exposed to. Now, what is your favorite video?
Elden Ring.
Hey, yep.
Elden
I knew
Ring.
you were gonna
Like,
say that. Yeah,
bruh.
I knew you were
Thing
gonna
is,
say
it's
that.
not just the gameplay. It's like it's so much more than just the gameplay. Like the story itself is so like intricate and like designed a way to where you actually have to look for it, and like because it's like the story. It's not just given to you. It's well, I guess like the main story of the game is so it's like you're well, I guess not like spoilers. So like you're or I guess yeah, Elden Ring spoilers. You're like a tarnished. So it's like the idea is you're in this world called the Lands Between, and it's like you spawn as a tarnished, who are like fallen warriors that were brought back from the dead, and basically the goal of it is to put together something called the Elden Ring, and the Elden Ring is scattered in the things called Great Runes, which are held by like which have like special powers, and they're held by demigods or like the children of the main villain, I guess, of the story. And the goal is to collect all of the collect all of the great runes, and take it to inside of the Erd tree, so that you can put it together and become the Elden Lord. And the thing is like there's so many. It's like it's crazy how big that game actually is, and like how much lore there is behind it. Because the lore of the time before Tarnished is so scattered out that it's like hard for me to explain type of shit. Like it would take me it would take me more time than there is in the day to explain it.
Yeah, because Elden Ring isn't Elden Ring like the biggest Soulsborne game when it comes to like the map?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like the map is I've actually tested this before. The map is so big that like going from like the farthest end to it to the other end takes like 15 no, it takes like yeah, like 15 minutes to go from horseback from the very end to like the farthest point you could reach.
What about walking like the slowest pace on foot?
That would take an hour, maybe 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
It's like the game. And the thing is, it's like along with like the main story of like there's so much you have to travel. There's also so much side content, dungeons, weapons, and shit like that. That it's like overwhelming sometimes. It's like the only. It's one of the only games that I rate a 10. That I rate as a 10 out of 10. Like seriously.
I mean that uh, I could definitely see that. I mean, you talk about that game more than any other video game.
Yeah, and you haven't played it yet. You need to get your ass over here and play it. We need to make a video about you playing Elden Ring,
Oh yeah, 100%.
and
We
then
just
you'll
got.
understand.
I would love. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would love to. I'd love to play it.
Yeah, but honestly, a lot of people say that like, oh, the previous Souls games are better. Like people say that Dark Souls 3 was better, or like that Bloodborne's the best game of all time. A lot of people say stuff like that, and I can see it. I can see why those games are so like popular and why people like them so much. But it's just Elden Ring, just for me, just outbeats them by a long shot. Well, at least from what I've seen. Like I watched like Jacksepticeye's playthrough of Bloodborne and his playthrough of Elden Ring and stuff like that.
Yeah, because when it comes to the Soulsborne franchise, I've never really played any of them besides like my older brother uh, showing me like how to play these games, and I asked him, "What game should I start out with?" And he says Dark Souls 3. So I'm like, "All right, I'll try Dark Souls 3." So I played it for a little bit, got to the first boss, beat it, and never played it after that.
Yeah, no, if you're like planning on like starting, you need to start with Demon Souls and go up from that game. Because it's always best to
But
start with the first game.
Oh yeah, because I mean that's understandable. But of course, when it comes to like the appeal of the Souls games, one Souls game has stood out to me more than most: Bloodborne. I
Yeah.
want to play that. I actually really, really want to play that
Yeah,
game
I
more
want to
than
play that one a
any other.
lot too because like some of the videos I've seen of like the weapons, it's like the weapon system in Bloodborne 2 is literally different than any other Soulsborne game. It's different than any
Yeah,
other Souls game.
yeah, Bloodborne. Mainly the reason why it sticks out to me is for one, the design in like say a very like 1700 18th century, uh, in English area, and two, the atmosphere. Like it's like foggy, it's dark. I mean, of course, any like Souls games
Average
atmosphere is
modern day
normally like
Britain.
that. Yeah, Souls games normally have that kind of atmosphere, but then I look at games like Elden Ring and it's more bright and vibrant, which
Most of the game is like that.
that's not a bad thing
There are
because
some
honestly,
parts where it does get kind of scary.
the
You
environments in
get a bit
Elden,
spooky.
yeah, the environments in Elden Ring actually look really nice. It is visually appealing. It is beautiful. It's like what made Dark Souls 2 so appealing to lots of
Yeah,
people were
like
the
the
environment.
visuals in Elden Ring are like nothing I've ever seen in a game. It's like
Yeah, but
I've seen videos of it like full on everything on maximum 4K and like oh my god it looks so good.
yeah, that's why I want to play Bloodborne so much because it just gives me that chill down my spine. On top of that, like the final boss of the game is called the Moon Present, and I want to, for one thing, I love about certain video games that have taken inspiration for like a long time is like how like horrific they can be. And one thing I love is like horror video games or like horror movies. I love the way the Moon Presence looks in this video game. This final boss looks so terrifying that it just sends a chill down your spine. And I've seen my older brother, he's played that game like over dozens and dozens of times on New Game Plus and like custom dungeons that you can actually make or like custom
That's awesome.
dun- yeah, that's a thing in Bloodborne. You can make like these custom kind of playthroughs that people can actually play, and it's interesting to see that because it's like a massive customization part of it, and I'm not sure whether or not any other Souls game has done that.
I
my
don't
older
think
brother
yeah I don't think so.
my older brother, he told me that that's something that you can do in Bloodborne. And I'm like, really? That sounds pretty cool. And it's like, for what it is, you can like make these. It's like just kind of like normalize. You use the enemies and like the areas that they're in. Although you can actually kind of technically increase the level of difficulty, so it's more challenging. And he showed me like these different things that these players made, and it's a really cool looking game, honestly. Which is why I want to play it so much.
Now for me the thing that makes bosses appealing to me in games it's like it's bosses where it's like they're just pure strength. They're just like big weapon and like it's just like a man to man type of battle. Like my favorite boss in Elden Ring is this dude called Godfrey. So it's like there's other Elden Lords before you. You're like you're the third Elden Lord, but Godfrey he's the first Elden Lord, and he's like a end game boss, and it's like his first phase. He's like a giant. He has this giant axe that he wields, and it's just like his move set. It matches so well with like builds where they're just like berserker, like just attack to take hits while you're attacking, and it's like just fighting bosses like it just feels so cool. It's like so fun just like trading blows and shit. like just like
Hmm.
swing an axe, like just getting hit and then jumping right back and just swing. I have to show you gameplay of fighting it because he's such a cool fucking boss to fight. And then his second phase, Horaloo, he turns into a fucking Mexican wrestler and just starts grappling and shit. It's like I don't know. It's just something about it. This just makes it my favorite boss fight. Now my least favorite boss fight is well, Radagon, who's the final boss, and it's like that dude gets on my nerves because that's the only boss that's taken me more than a month to beat before.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's the only boss I cannot figure out how to fucking like flow with his move set. Cause like in Souls games, it's like all about learning the boss's move set, knowing when to dodge, knowing when to jump, and so on. I just can't for the life of me get Radagon's move set down in my head. It's just like so unpredictable that it's just hard to keep a pattern on.
Sounds like a lot of different bosses in video games. There's always going to be a certain boss that's more challenging than the rest of them, that ends up having very completely unpredictable move sets that you can't exactly go for
But the
or
thing is,
exploit.
Radagon's he's considered an easier boss for most people. And I just like I have less trouble fighting Melania, who has like been considered the hardest boss in Souls games history. Well, I don't have too much trouble with her. I can like relatively beat her in like I don't know 15, 20 tries, maybe 30 if I'm having a bad day. But like Radagon, motherfucker takes me hundreds of tries. Like seriously, it's just
All I
ridiculous.
That might depend on the kind of because I one thing I know about Elden Ring is like there's different builds and classes.
I've tried.
Oh,
I have beaten the game with like almost every type of build possible. Like seriously, like, I've beaten the game with the Dex build, with the faith base build, the intelligence base, with the strength base, with the strength base, with the Dex faith base, with the intelligence strength faith base, intelligence Dex based, along with a just pure intelligence based build. So yeah.
I mean, yeah,
It's just difficult for me no matter what build I use.
oh, that's understandable. Certain video game bosses will, will always provide a challenge at a certain point. Like I'd say the most challenging video game boss I ever fought was let's see, God of War Ragnarok, the Queen of Light Elves. Even though fundamentally that boss is actually pretty fucking easy. I mean, of course, there's a difficulty system. I chose like the second to last hardest difficulty
hmm.
for my first playthrough of the game, mainly because I wanted to try something pretty challenging.
Hang on,
Oh,
You've played God of War Ragnarok?
yeah.
Huh? I didn't know
uh, I guess I haven't told you, but I remember the first time I ever tried fighting this boss, I died like 20 times to the boss. And then I realized the next time I tried playing the game, I'm like, oh, this is so fucking easy. Why did I have so much trouble the first time?
that.
It's
That's
like
funny.
I mean, it even tells you like during the fight that there's patterns that you watch out for, and then you need to exploit them. It's like giving you instructions on how to fight, and I still fuck it up somehow.
That's funny.
It's it's like when you're playing a board game and it's like where your friend explains the instructions to you, and you're like, all right, how do you play?
Okay, that's funny. Okay, but what
It's
about you, man? What's your favorite video game?
uh, dude, like most people say, it's like a tough decision. I mean, for me, Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Oh my god, that's a really fucking. That's actually like my second or third favorite game. Black Ops
Mainly
3 is a really interesting choice for favorite though.
mainly because how much I played it when I was. I played that game more than any other fucking video. That was my shit. It was so much fun.
I think I have 630 hours on it on my computer.
Bro, I remember
But then I also have another probably 1,000 on PS4.
bro, I remember when BO3 launched and we got the Black Ops what was it, the Black Ops 3 PlayStation edition.
Bruh,
And
I got that exact same thing.
yeah, I know, I saw it at your house.
Yeah,
I
that's
remember hanging
crazy.
out over at your house and I saw it. Yeah, because I got that and I was so happy. Well, mainly because, well, at that point I didn't know much about the Call of Duty franchise itself. Actually, BO3 was my introduction to the franchise.
Yeah,
So,
mine was World at War.
so I was excited for the PlayStation, but I didn't know what BO3 was. And then once I started playing it, I could not stop playing it. It was so much fun. Multiplayer was so much fun. Playing zombies with my brothers was so much fun. Like different game modes, like freaking gun game or sticks and stones. Ugh,
You just come a little
amazing.
Jesus.
Ugh, oh, great heavens!
Okay.
But yeah, BO3 is so good, and somehow Activision managed to fuck it up after that video game with every other video game that came out afterwards.
But yeah, Black Ops 3 was like probably the peak of like I don't know about Call of Duty, but like zombies, 100% it was like the peak of zombies.
Yeah, because BO4, now BO4, don't get me wrong, it's not the worst game.
Yeah,
After
it has some alright maps and I got pretty good gameplay, I guess, but
BO4 Zombies actually is pretty enjoyable, although it's not as good as anything else that came before it.
I will never forgive them for taking out the original perk system.
Yeah, seriously, one thing is like the perk system like kind of it didn't exactly change throughout the entire Zombies franchise, although, of course, one main thing I loved was the Perca Cola. I was consistent. And the, like, in BO.
Sorry.
Jesus. Okay, and BO3, of course, you had Gobble. I.
Gobble on my gum till I pop.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh god.
You fall over?
Almost.
But yeah, But yeah, BO4, that was also the introduction to something new to Call of Duty Battle Royale.
Yeah, and it was like weirdly enough like one of the most played games of the year, or like at that point in the year. It was
Yeah,
very,
that's
but it was called Blackout. It was like
yeah, that was
very,
Blackout.
very fucking popular.
And I don't remember if I played Blackout, but I think I probably played it once before. But I remember lots of people loving Blackout and lots of people enjoying it. And then later came, I'm not sure what came after that. What was it? What came after BO4? Was it like
It was
Cold
Cold
War or
War.
Vanguard?
It
Yeah,
was
Cold
Cold
War.
War. Vanguard was after Cold War.
Yeah, then Cold War came out, and I do not remember a single person talking about that game.
Yeah, Cold War was a flop.
Not gonna lie, I don't remember a single person like referring to or even mentioning Cold War.
Oh yeah, I know the only thing I know about Cold War is that like they for the zombies is they brought back the old perk system.
And then one thing I wait a minute, was Cold War after or was it Modern Warfare 2019?
Well, I only keep track of the calls that have zombies in them, so I don't know.
Hmm. Oh yeah, wait, that's right. Hold on, I think yeah, it was Modern Warfare 2019. I remember now. Yeah, after BO4, it was Modern Warfare 2019. Now that was also another introduction of Battle Royale, this time called Warzone. Now,
I played a
they
lot of
discontinued
Warzone. Jesus.
they discontinued Blackout after that. They're just like, I mean, they're not going to continue anything out for BO4. And then they introduced Warzone, which you didn't actually have to buy Modern Warfare to have Warzone. You could download it for free. And of course, the seasons when a new game was released each and every time after that, that's how that worked. And then, I played multiplayer for Modern Warfare 2019. That was actually really fun. Um, Multiplayer for Modern Warfare 2019, that is actually a really enjoyable thing. Although one thing that really sucked, no zombies.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, in the original Modern Warfare Call of Duty franchise, there were no zombies. Fair enough.
There was zombies in the
But
Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare, though, weirdly enough.
yeah,
Expo
but
zombies and I think just normal zombies.
yeah, but I do gotta say, probably would have probably popped. But of course, the reason why there is zombies in certain Call of Duty video games is because it fits within the story and the timeline. Because when it comes to the story of different Call of Duty games, the story isn't actually connected with each other. Like the Black Ops story, that's a completely different story in itself. The like say the Infinite and Advanced Warfare, those stories are different on their own. Modern Warfare franchise, again, that's different story completely. And like Ghost as well. Although Ghost is a certain character that reoccurs in different video games, and the ghosts themselves are also different characters, like in say Modern Warfare. So I'm not exactly sure how that interconnects. And of course, in Ghosts, they had an alien game mode. They
Yep.
didn't have zombies.
Extinction.
Yeah, they didn't have zombies. Yeah, they had Extinction, which also fucking amazing. That Extinction
I
is
thought it
actually
was
so much
I
fun.
thought it was all right. It wasn't
I
nothing to gawk at, but
it is actually fun. But like I was saying, then after Modern Warfare 2019, then came Cold War, which, like I said, I don't remember anybody talking about that game. Seriously, it's like it came out and everyone forgot about it. And then, like, then really close to, like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't even a year later, they announced Vanguard. And I'm like, man, then I remember once they announced Vanguard, I'm like, wait a minute. How Cold War, how long did that come out? How long ago did that come out? I checked the date of when Cold War released. It was like, wow, they did not want to waste any time on getting a new game because,
Cold War
to be
flopped.
fair, yeah, Cold War, it did not do well.
What's crazy
Probably,
is that Lethal Company does better than that. Lethal Company has been doing better than like a fucking Call of Duty game, which is just hilarious.
yeah, a third-party indie game developed
Made
by
by
a
a
furry.
furry. Hey.
Hey, you owe me a Dr. Pepper. Anyways,
Alright, oh yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. I'll tell you after podcast. Go ahead.
like yeah, because it's interesting to think that third-party indie game industries are actually kind of outbeating mainstream media. Besides certain video games like From Software and Bandai Namco, Activision has been going down really deep into certain things for a while now.
No, they need to do. They need to remaster like Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2.
Oh, bro, if they were to remaster like the original Black Ops franchise, I would. Oh, bro,
Yeah, but I think Black Ops 3 is a little bit too new to remaster. Well, they
yeah.
remastered Modern Warfare, so maybe not. I
Well,
don't
to be fair, the Modern Warfare came out in Modern Warfare came out in like 2007, and the original Modern Warfare 2 came out in like 2009. So,
I know that there was
and
another game released with Black Ops 3 that came out like a year before or a year after it. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was. I think Advanced and Infinite Warfare came out. No,
yeah,
Infinite. Yeah,
Advanced.
something.
I think
Sorry, go ahead.
no, it was Infinite. Yeah, it was Infinite
Yeah,
Warfare.
I knew
It was
that. Like Infinite
it
Warfare
was
came
released a
out.
year earlier. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
released a year earlier in
The thing is about the
2015.
Black Ops, I'm pretty sure that Treyarch are the ones who worked on the Black Ops series and the Activision.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
not Treyarch.
right.
Yeah, Treyarch were like the main developers of the Black Ops series.
What was that again? Triarch?
Treyarch, Treyarch.
Yeah, Treyarch. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, these guys.
Did they develop Cold War and Black Ops 4? I don't remember.
I don't.
Because if they
I
didn't,
don't
that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, actually, that would add up a lot.
I'm gonna see real quick.
Yeah, I'm googling it too. Well, actually, I'm edging right now.
Shut the fuck up.
Treyarch Game, founded in 1996. Explore more. Sledgehammer Games, Activision, Raven Software.
Oh, they did develop Black Ops 4 and Cold War.
Uh,
Never mind, Treyarch fell off.
dang, Treyarch.
I
Well,
was gonna say, like, God.
I think the main reason why those kind of games kind of fell into certain quality. I mean, to be fair, video games like specific like the Call of Duty franchise, they do release games like yearly,
Yeah,
but
it's
of
fair.
course, although that hasn't diminished their quality in the past though. In the past, that never stopped them making really top tier video games. Like,
I
of
think
course,
they're
even
just running out of ideas, honestly.
yeah, that might be the point because Infinite Warfare, like that actually was the first like sci-fi. That was actually the first sci-fi
Wait,
Call
Infinite
of Duty
Warfare
game.
came out before Black Ops 3?
Yeah, the year before.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
because Infinite Warfare was the announcement for like a first sci-fi video game. And once people watched the trailer for Infinite Warfare, everyone hated it. Reception for Infinite Warfare was actually bad.
There's only so
And
many wars you can make games based off of.
yeah, all and they were actually like Activision and everyone was like scared at first, but then sales for Infinite Warfare went through the roof. People kept playing it. People loved that game. People wanted more of it. And then they dabbled even more in the sci-fi area with BO3 and the BO3 campaign with like robots, cyborgs, and all this shit, like
Yeah,
wall running, like Titanfall,
BO3 is the lowest, has like the lowest percentage of completed, like people who complete the campaign compared to people who actually buy the game. It has like the lowest percentage of people who actually completed or even played the campaign.
which is fair and understandable because yeah, like the reception for sci-fi for Call of Duty still at that point wasn't the best. Although of course BO3 is one of the most popular Call of Duty games, mainly of course because they zombies,
Yeah, so
zombies and like
BO3 is a fucking zombies Call of Duty game. It's honestly mostly zombies and like multiplayer
it is
campaign
notorious.
campaign. Eh.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Of course, one and actually, I'm not sure whether or not this is correct, but I'm pretty sure the most played campaign I think was BO2.
BO1. It's BO1.
Oh, BO1.
Yeah,
Because I rem
BO1 is the most completed campaign out of the Black Ops series.
Yeah, because that adds up. Because I mean, when it comes to the older games, they weren't exactly not all of the older games were based off of modern wars. A lot of them were based off of like warfare, although like realistic warfare, not actual wars, just actual warfare stuff that was more grounded in reality, which I think people liked a lot more because of how grounded the game was. Although when it came to the like say the multiplayer aspect, it was more non-canonical compared to like say a linear kind of story form. Although people still loved the original games. Although, of course, when it came to like gameplay wise, the sci-fi introduction made the gameplay a lot more fun. It's just that no one wanted to play the stories of it because that's not how Call of Duty was.
Yeah, it was
And
mostly multiplayer and zombies by Black Ops 3.
and I think they actually kind of reverted to like the modern or more grounded approach with the BO4 campaign because I'm not sure whether or not that actually had any sort of sci-fi themes in them. I'm pretty sure there were like robots, although I don't think it kind of dabbled in the sci-fi kind of genre like
Did
BO3 and
BO4
Infinite
even
Warfare.
have a campaign is the question.
Pretty sure it did. I mean, let's see. Black Ops. Oh,
A lot of, I just found a Reddit thread, give me a second.
see. Multiplayer, zombies, blackouts. Lists all those game modes. I wonder,
Okay, so it doesn't have a campaign, but it has a story.
really?
Yeah. Does have a
What?
campaign, looks like.
That doesn't. Huh. Look at that. It's on Walmart's website for the PS4 on for 1897.
Yeah, it doesn't have a normal, yeah, it doesn't have a campaign mode.
That doesn't. What?
BO4 doesn't.
Huh?
BO4 doesn't have a campaign, huh? That's
That's
funny.
confusing.
That's really funny.
Yeah, that's that's confusing to me. Although it kind of adds up
After BO3's
because
campaign slopped so much, I think they just gave up on campaigns. Honestly, well, at least for the Black Ops games.
yeah, probably.
I'm gonna see if Cold War had
But
a campaign.
sure it did because of course as the I think yeah, because when it comes to the Call of Duty franchise, I feel like reception for like say campaign and multiplayer is a bit mixed. Like say the reception for like the older campaigns, people loved them, people enjoyed them, the story. And I think the reason why Cold War flopped so much is because they slapped on Cold War.
Yeah, it does. Cold War does have a campaign. It's set during what do you know? The Cold War.
Well, yeah, because I think that's actually, I'm not sure why, but I think that might be the reason why that game flopped so much is because they used an actual war for it, which, of
Well, they
course, when
used
it
that
came to
for
the Cold War,
World at War.
huh?
They used the actual world thing for World at War.
That's true. They
That's
used
like one of the most well-known Call of Duties of all time.
that is very true, but I feel like it actually had something to do with like them using Cold War. And it also might have been like a whole thing on top of the idea that reception for BO4 was so bad, but in between BO4 and Cold War, Modern Warfare 2019 came out and everyone actually loved and enjoyed them. So I'm not so sure where uh, Cold War fell off because it was really strange how that kind of kind of went into all that because no one not a lot of positive reviews, not a lot of people talked about it, and the people who did talk about it didn't really enjoy it.
Hmm.
So I'm not exactly sure where Cold War actually fell off on the whole point of being a Call of Duty game because even though BO4 like say didn't have a campaign or anything, people still love playing BO4. At least when it came to like say the blackout game mode, everyone enjoyed that. Like say multiplayer, enjoyed that. And zombies, not everyone enjoyed
Some people enjoyed
BO4 zombies.
that.
Yeah, some people. Even then, it was still a pretty well received game. I mean,
Yeah,
it is.
I never said the zombies mode was horrible. I just said it's like not as
It's
good
not,
as the pre. It's the worst
yeah,
zombies mode. How's the worst one? But it's not horrible.
yeah. It's like when you say it as the worst zombies mode, it's not like it is like the worst, but it's
It's like
just not.
not bad. It's just not as good as the others.
Yeah, because BO3 zombies, ah, amazing. BO2 zombies, everyone loved that. BO1 zombies, everyone.
Hell, even in World at War Zombies, everyone love that one. Loves that one too.
Yeah, I think one main thing is because yeah, the game system itself and like the gameplay for BO4 zombies, mainly because I think it had to do something with like yeah, the change in gameplay and the mechanics because in BO4 they removed a lot of like certain previous sort of gameplay mechanics for zombies and they they did like kind of a twist because in certain like I'm pretty sure in certain maps in BO3 zombies like certain maps had different mechanics within them like say Shadows of Evil like the
Yeah.
map itself
Do you want me to
the
list
map
off the mechanics for each map? Because I can.
yeah yeah sure go
Okay, this will be like 10 minutes. So, Shadows of Evil. The thing about Shadows of Evil, so it has a specialist you can build and has a wonder weapon you can build. And the specialist is like a simple is like a thing where you get stump is where you get like these eggs. You collect souls in the eggs, and then boom, you got a specialist. And for Dryzendrock, the wonder weapon system for Dryzendrock is there's elemental weapons, and you just do something. You just build all of them through a process of just like literally just build your weapons. I think the main difference between Black Ops 4 and Black Ops 3 is that everything is handed to you in Black Ops 4. Like the specialist, your perks, your like sidearms. It's all just handed to you. Well, in Black Ops 3, you actually have to work to get them. Cause in like every map in every map in Black Ops 3 there were special something that you had to get and wonder weapons you had to build or get. And same with the perks. The perks you chose your perks while you were playing the game, or like the side specialists you had to decide which one you wanted, or it's like you had to get them yourself and build them and work for them. While in Black Ops 4, you just picked them. You just picked what you wanted in the main menu. So I think the challenge of it also, I think like the drop in challenge and like the lack of challenge in Black Ops 4 is also what caused it to just not be considered not as good as the others.
Hmm. Hold on a second.
Alright. But yeah, the challenge. As the
Yeah,
as the Black Ops games like got older, well as the newer as the I'm trying to say here. So it's like it started at really difficult what it were, then difficult but not as difficult in Black Ops 1, and just got less difficult from there. And it's like Black Ops 3 is considered an easy game, well the zombies at least, but it's like
it's still challenging to a certain degree.
yeah. Well, BO4 it goes too far over. It goes too far away from being challenging.
Yeah, because the only challenging aspect of it, I guess you could say, is like getting to pack a punch. Even then, that's still pretty simple. That's still pretty easy. On top of that, when it comes to like say BO4 zombies, the certain weapons and progression rate and everything about it, even like the damage the zombies do, you can get to like pretty high rounds and end the games with like little to no difficulty compared to like say BO3, which there's a lot more that you had to worry about in terms of like say challenge and progression in the rounds. Because of course, when it comes to the more rounds that happen, it gets harder each time. But in BO4, I think it lacked a lot of that.
I think another thing about BO4 is that like I think there's too much freedom of customization. Cause in BO4 like there's an option to like change your health and there's like different game modes and stuff, which I guess is pretty cool. But at the same time, it's like, why is it got to be so complicated? Like the
Yeah,
old like the for like what made them change the formula when the old one was working perfectly?
that's true. Because I feel like it's like the whole idea of like they want to try something new. They want to be able to introduce something new to see whether or not people will enjoy it. But I think they kind of got that impression when it came to Infinite Warfare because that was back in 2015, and when the game was announced, everyone hated it. Although when the game released, everyone enjoyed it. But of course, that was like say, of course, that was a bit of like say a bit flipped reception once the game released. Now, when BO4 was announced, everyone was excited. Everyone wanted to play it. But when it came, like when it was announced, everyone loved it. Once it was released, everyone was kind of, yeah, it's all right.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's like I don't hate game companies trying something new, but at the same time, it's like if they didn't just try something new, they completely changed the game.
That's true because that's
And
the thing. I mean, if you
if they like added like one or two new things in, or like it's like if they like added just like kept everything the same, but like added in optional game modes, like sure that could be cool, or like stuff like that.
yeah, that's the thing. You can introduce new stuff. You could just introduce it. Don't replace anything old because, as the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly, it's like they changed, like they just took out what made Black Ops. They took out what made zombies, like the bare bones experience that just like made
Yeah,
just like
like
hop into a match and have fun.
and don't get me wrong, that's not a bad formula. That's not a like a say terrible format, but it's just the fact that they changed it so drastically. Like say
Yeah.
the progression rate, the challenge, the difficulty, the different sorts of like say even the Easter eggs. Like I don't think there were any Easter eggs or like say things you could do in BO4
No, there
maps.
were.
There were?
Yeah,
All right, well,
there were a bunch there were main map Easter eggs that continued the BO4 zombies. I mean that continued the storyline of zombies. There were
okay,
Easter eggs. But the thing is there but it's like Yeah, it's like a course, but it's like thing is that like that was the only thing you could do though is the Easter eggs because high round just didn't feel fun anymore. It was just too easy. And
Yeah, don't get me
the
wrong.
thing is about BL4 is they remastered. I think like I'm trying to think of how many maps were just remastered. I think 3 maps. Was it 3? Yeah, 3 maps were just old maps. Like there was Blood of the Dead, which was just like a more shit version of Mob of the Dead. There was what's it called? There was a reimagined of Call of the Dead, which was I've heard people say it was all right, but still not as good as the original Call of the Dead. Then there was one that was like a recreation of Nuketown, which I forgot what it was called, but it was like and bought, but it was like I've heard that it was like all they did was take old maps and just like add stuff to them for like half
Yeah.
the maps.
Now it's like, of course, like when it came to like certain maps that were reintroduced in like say later games, they were more or less reintroduced in a certain way. Which now, don't get me wrong, reintroducing maps and changing some things about them, it's not bad by all. But of course, it's the whole point of like changing a map compared to say changing the mechanics, which is exactly what yeah, which this whole conversation just basically is. BL4 zombies. They changed the mechanics. They altered a few things here and there, although they replaced a lot. They didn't just change it; they completely like they just completely replaced it.
Yeah, it just it grinds my jaw,
Now, of course,
twerks my
like
jaw.
like we said, BO4 not the worst Call of Duty game. It just could have been better.
Yeah.
Now, now let's also kind of touch on like the games after that. I want to talk a little bit more about Modern Warfare 2019.
Go ahead. I don't
Now,
know.
Modern
I don't
Warfare.
know. Sorry, there's one thing. I don't know nothing about anyone's after Black Ops 4 really. So.
Well, now when it
so
comes to like say the newer games, I only know a lot more about like say the reintroduced Modern Warfare franchise. I don't know much about Cold War or Vanguard, so let's go and talk about Modern Warfare 2019. Now, Modern Warfare 2019 was actually pretty well received when it came out and even when it was announced. Like say the reintroduction of the title Modern Warfare, because when it came to the older Modern Warfare franchise in the early 2000s for uh, for people, that was actually one of the most popular Call of Duty franchises ever made, right next to the Black Ops franchise. So reintroducing it and like kind of remastering it isn't the worst idea in the world. Now, of course, when it came to Modern Warfare 2019, out of any of the new Modern Warfare franchise video games, is the best received when it comes to multiplayer and even Warzone. It's funny. The very first video game that they kind of reintroduced for the Modern Warfare franchise did the best. Then the other two after that didn't do so well. But anyways, as I was saying, the Modern Warfare 2019, like say the campaign, it was pretty much like say like I'm not exactly sure because I don't know anything about the campaign for Modern Warfare 2019, but it was well received from what I can tell. From what I can tell, it was like a more grounded in reality story. It wasn't like say out of this world or anything like say crazy, but people enjoyed it. But then there's multiplayer. Now, multiplayer that everyone loved the multiplayer Modern Warfare 2019, me included. Like say like the customization of weapons, the different kinds of weapons. Now, of course, when it came to certain weapons and certain kinds of builds that you can do for a primary and a secondary weapon, there was one called I think it was called Shotgun Rush, where you would have a shotgun as your primary and a riot shield as your secondary. That was an interesting combination of weapons because there's a shotgun in the game called the 725. Now, everyone abused the 725 in Modern Warfare 2019 because it was such a busted weapon. You could sprint all across the map and blast people with the 725 like with little to no repercussion, and it is a very busted weapon. And since people loved the riot shield because if you could turn around, you wouldn't get shot, and if you pull it right in front of you, you could beat people with the riot shield, and then pull out your shotgun and just one tap them. Which I tried that really too. It's so much fun. And then there's also the kill streaks. Of course, kill streaks. Everybody knows about kill streaks in Call of Duty multiplayer. You have stuff like the UAV, you have the nuke. Oh, such classics. And of course, those are there, although they introduced a few new ones. Hold on a second.
All right. Video games, video games, video games, video games.
Anyways, as I was saying, they introduced some new kill streaks, honestly, which are really fun. They introduced something called the Wheelson and like the VTOL and the chopper. When it comes to these, they're kind of like they're very similar to older ones, like say the Wheelson. What it is a small is like a small kind of just a turret that is planted onto tank treads that you can drive around remote controlly and just like blast everyone, decimate them. And honestly, that kill streak is so much fun because once you get Wilson, you can just absolutely destroy and decimate everyone. It is fun. It is intuitive. It is just satisfying. And then, of course, you have the VTOL, which is basically just a. In the older games, it was like, say, a Harrier strike, although this time it's a VTOL. What VTOL is just like an airstrike in a certain way where you would just call in a giant jet and they would shoot down missiles to kill people. Pretty simple kill streak, although it is so much fun. It is so enjoyable. Then you also have the chopper gunner, which is basically what you have is a chopper which has a machine gun mounted onto it that you can spray enemies with, and you have about like say 5 missiles that you can shoot at players. And once you're done with the missiles, you can just mow people down with a machine gun as it is. And honestly, the kill streaks in Modern Warfare 2019, oh, it is just the best. It is just the best. Honestly, those kill streaks are actually so much fun. Are they better than older kill streaks? I mean, I would say so. But then they also had another kill streak where you could legit just spawn in a whole tank. You could literally, you could legit just spawn in a tank and get in it and just start killing people. If somebody got, because you knew as soon as somebody, you knew as soon as you saw like a freaking tank being dropped onto the ground from the sky, you knew that you were gonna lose that game because
Imagine being in an
all they
actual war and someone just spawns in a tank.
yeah, that's legit. That's legit how it was. You would get a massive kill streak and then you could just spawn in a tank by that point you're just like, okay, bro, they have a tank. What the hell are we gonna do? But the best part about that the best part about the tank is that once you spawn in the tank, you can have teammates jump on the top of it. So you are controlling a massive gun while they are also spraying smaller guns and still killing and doing damage. So that that would make people so much more angrier than anything because of course TDM as it is team deathmatch in Call of Duty. Oh, it is so much fun in Modern Warfare 2019. It was the best, dude. It was just fucking great. It was it was so much fun. But but of course, I'm just gonna be fully blunt. Not as good as anything that there was before it, like say Call of Duty 3 multiplayer. I'm just gonna say everything that better than Modern Warfare 2019. Now, of course, I might be praising Modern Warfare 2019 a little more than I should because lots of people, of course, there are going to be lots of people who say that game was not fun. It was more rage-inducing. They probably broke controllers on it and there's a lot of negativity against the new Modern Warfare franchise. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Fuck all of you, because Modern Warfare 2019 honestly is so much fun. The multiplayer, the kill streaks, oh, it is. I can't words, but of course that's only talking about the normal multiplayer. What about Wars? The new the new battle royale game mode introduced to Call of Duty that replaced Blackout. How about that?
I played a little bit of
Modern
Warzone,
now,
and I thought it was mid, kind of mid, honestly.
which is fair because most people now say Warzone is just the worst. It is not very
Warzone
fun.
2 is the worst.
Yeah, the original. Now let me tell you, original Warzone, 2019 Warzone, instantly the best version of it. It is. It was satisfying because, well, for one thing, of course, it was new. People were getting introduced to how like different guns worked. It's like, oh, this is a cool sniper rifle. Bang, ping somebody easily, just destroy them. And of course, you could find different vehicles. You could even call in, like, say, airstrikes too in the game itself. You could buy. There was like these things called buy stations where if your teammate died, you could revive them at the buy stations. And later there was something introduced into the game called Gulag, which the Gulag was is after death you would be put into this massive area where you would fight a whole nother like say other people that died, and whoever wins the Gulag match gets revived. Of course, if you fail the Gulag match, your teammates can still revive you, which that is a lot of fun. Now, of course, interesting fact, there was actually something called Gulag in real life, where, like, say, prisoners of war were captured, um, and then they were thrown into this giant area called the Gulag, and they were forced to kill and fight for the entertainment for those who were captured. But it's pretty entertaining in a video.
Yeah.
Anyways, as I was saying, Modern Warfare 20, Modern Warfare 2019 with the Warzone. The Warzone game mode was so much fun back in 2019, and everything about multiplayer in Warzone was just the best. I never played the campaign in Warzone. I never played the campaign in Modern Warfare 2019 because I didn't give a shit. Because multiplayer was the now of course now of course if I were to rate the game out of any, like, say, modern Call of Duty game, it is the best in a long time of lineups. I'm gonna say it. Modern Warfare 2019. I had more fun than that than BO4. Just gonna say it.
Hmm.
Modern Warfare 2019 better than BO4, and I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
I've just
I'm pretty.
the game I've played the most in the past. Hang on, when did okay? So Elden Ring came out in 2022. Yeah, well, the game I've played the most in the past 2 years, Elden Ring, and like
But yeah,
some BO3. Maybe with and
yeah.
maybe and some like little side games here and there, like Dragon Ball Xenoverse, a little bit of like Beyond Two Souls, Detroit Become Human, but those were just like little like 16, 20 hour games.
Now, of course. Uh. All right. So, like, now to say my final input on Modern Warfare 2019. Hold on.
God, we've talked about Call of Duty for like 30 minutes, I think.
Uh. Now I do. Yeah, because I do want to talk about other video games besides Call of Duty. So
we're
I'm
we're 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 at an hour and 2 minutes.
gonna. Now, of course, I don't want to, like, take up this whole episode like, oh, let's just talk about the entirety of Call of Duty, but I'm gonna go ahead and give a little bit of final input on Modern Warfare 2019. Best Call of Duty game in modern times. Now, now
Let's
done
talk
with
story games
that,
now.
huh?
Let's talk story games now.
All right.
What's your favorite story game? Or actually, should I go first? I'll go
Is this
first. I'll
gonna?
go first.
All right.
I'll
Okay.
go story. I'll go my first. So when I say story game, this can either mean like click and point, like point and click games like Telltale's The Walking Dead, Detroit Become Human, or like games like that. Or it could just be like a game that has a story that you really like. Now, for me, my favorite story game is probably Telltale's The Walking Dead, and that's like in seasons 1 through 4. It's actually a tie between that and Detroit Become Human. They're like both very similar in the way they have like their choices and stuff like that. My only complaint about them is that choices matter, but at the same time, the end result they don't really matter too much because you end up with the same ending regardless sometimes. Or it's like the next game is the same regardless of the ending except for like one or two things. But yeah, Telltale The Walking Dead and Detroit Become Human are my favorites. What about you?
Now, when it comes to like say story-based games, I've played a lot more non-canonical and like less grounded story video games. And anytime I did play a game that had like say a campaign mode, I never really played it. But yeah, hmm, can't think of any different like story-based games.
I mean, you've played Ragnarok, right? Call of Duty
Oh yeah, God of
Ragnarok.
War. I mean, God of War. Right?
Call of Duty. Jesus Christ, sorry. God, I had like a brain fart there. God of War Ragnarok. Jesus.
That's fair. I mean, we've been talking about Call of Duty for a bit now.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
do you think of the
God of
story?
War
What do you think of the story there?
story for God of War Ragnarok. Well, I actually haven't beat the game yet, but I've already
Pussy.
know everything. I already know everything about the story and like what happens in like the end of the game. Like same thing with God of War 4. Like now the God of War God of War Ragnarok. That's a really fun game. Like where I am right now, the story, the characters, it's all very appealing, and the gameplay is just so good. It is so different. Like say God of War 4 and God of War 3 are different. I mean God of War 4 and Ragnarok, they're different compared to the games beforehand, like say all the side games or all the main games of God of War. But even then, oh, that gameplay is so much fun. The weapons, the customization, the story, just it's actually it's a lot of fun. The boss fights are interesting. Like you meet different characters. Like say you meet frost giants. You you meet in the second game. You meet Thor. You meet Odin. You meet who was it? You meet Tyr. Tyr in Norse mythology is the god of war. Now Kratos, as in the god of war, meeting the god of war in God of War Ragnarok. And that interaction there was really interesting, and the character of Tyr is really interesting in the game too. Don't want to say too much for anyone who has played the
Yeah,
game, but
I've watched Jacksepticeye's playthrough of it, and I think it's a pretty good game. The gameplay looks pretty fun.
it's
I have played the original God of War games. Like I've played God of War 2 and 3.
oh
And they were
God of War.
both really good fucking games.
Oh yeah, God of War 3. That is my favorite God of War game. It is.
Haven't played the newer God of War games though, but yeah. Um, yeah, God of War overall as a series, probably one of the best game series of all time.
Yeah, I mean, man, I really did take up a lot of. We really did take up a lot of time just like yapping about Call of Duty, didn't we?
More like
Or at least I did.
you just yapping about Call of Duty.
Yeah, I really took up. I really took up a whole 30 minutes of
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
That's
Well,
hilarious.
it's just like Call of Duty is one of my favorite video game franchises.
Yeah.
You can't blame.
Yeah. I don't honestly I'm just not my talking just isn't on par today, I guess. So it's a lot of my fault too. Cuz like I can't put my words together right today.
You stayed up a little last night playing too much Elden
I
Ring.
actually went to sleep relatively early.
Oh,
It's like I
when
don't know. I'm just like
when you say
having an
relative,
off day.
when you say relatively, how early do you mean?
Well, 1 o'clock is still early. It's technically early.
Yeah, that's fair. We are on school break, so
1 o'clock is technically early in the morning, so.
it's early. You've got a point. It's early in the morning. It is early in the morning.
So like.
But yeah.
But I woke up at like 8, so I still got like 7 hours of sleep.
That is fair because I actually fell asleep at like 4 in the morning.
Fucking crazy ass motherfucker.
Then I woke up at like, when did I wake up?
I want to
Woke
say
up.
like I want to say I'm just gonna guess and say 10 because that's when he started sending us reels.
Oh, that is when I woke up. That's actually not that. That's actually not that much sleep now that I think about it.
It's like 6 hours, not too bad.
Yeah, Jesus, my sleep schedule is all over the place over break right now. Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, it's like I want to talk more about like these different video games, but I have a feeling that it's like how much more time can we still record this episode?
I'm like blanking right now anyway. I'm trying to
So
think.
should I just should I just keep on yapping?
Give me a second. Yeah.
All right. Gotcha.
I'm thinking. Hmm. Well, we could take some time to like record some other reaction videos, I guess. So we have videos for next week because we missed this week's uploads for Wednesday and Thursday because we didn't have anything.
Good point.
So
Yeah,
we
all right.
could just like end it here and then make some reaction videos to post next week.
All right, not a bad idea.
Okay, so I guess we decide. So this was episode 12 of the SlapDash podcast. This is 12 episodes. That's 3 week. That's 3 months of podcast so far. That's 3 months of pulling podcasts. That's pretty good. But yeah, this is episode 12. Hope you guys had a I hope you guys had a good time listening to Ruin talk about Call of Duty and me just throwing my occasional input, even though I'm the host of this episode. But yeah, we will see you guys on the next one, or I guess talk to you
Yeah,
guys on
see
the
you
next
all.
one.